Good afternoon, Vivian. It's great to see you today. Tell me, please, a little about yourself and your business.
Sure, Peter. Thank you for having me. My name is Vivian McKinnon. I am the owner and founder of Hyrdo-Ease, which is Northern Ireland's only dedicated flotation centre. I came across flotation in my own recovery myself from childhood trauma and the associated side effects of that, addictions and mental health and various different other things. And in 2004, I went into a float tank for the first time, and it was absolutely blew my mind. And no one could really tell me what had actually just happened. And at that point, I just started to volunteer for young people who were leaving the care system. And I just seen so much trauma in these young people, and I seen how much of an impact their early years had on them. And I was at college, and then after I had that float, I had this big vision of owning a float centre, of bringing this type of healing to various different people, of working alongside the NHS, of just this huge vision in the space of an hour in a float tank. And when I came out, the woman said, "Yeah, it's a lovely spa treatment," and I was like, "No, it's not." So I've spent my life since then really kind of researching what happened to me in that float tank, and how impactful that hour had been for me, but also how profound it was for both my body and my mind. So I then started researching trauma, and then I went on to university. I then went and studied with various different great thinkers. I'm currently studying with Dr. Magee, who's one of the kind of leaders in the field of trauma recovery. So I've been a trauma therapist since probably about 2013. I'd worked in the charity and voluntary sector as a project development worker after doing youth work, and then moved to Northern Ireland in 2010 and worked for a cert. So I'd done quite a bit of work around looking at community cohesion, looking at strategic plans for areas to include all aspects of the community, all members of the community in relation to drugs and alcohol. And then in 2013, I started a project for FASA down in Ballywalter in their recovery centre down there. And I was a recovery therapist then, and then just built on it since then. So I've now blended all of the things. I have qualifications in cognitive behavioural therapy, clinical hypnotherapy, neurolinguistic programming, timeline therapy, hypnosis, spectrum performance and emotional coaching, havening, compassionate inquiry, laughter yoga, auricular, lots of different things. So I blend all of that in unison with flotation, and I've put together a program called Draft, which is reconnection and flotation therapy. So there's a long answer for a very short question, Peter.
Wow. That's a round of applause. That's fantastic. That's a lot to pack in. So Vivian, tell me, is there a particular business leader that inspires you the most?
I wouldn't say I really follow business leaders as in, Simon Sinek, I think his work is amazing. But when it comes to like your Bill Gates and Zuckerberg and Bezos, and like, I don't really follow these people. I would believe, there's a guy called Resmo Monacan, and he talks a lot about racial prejudice, and talks a lot about how there's so much racial prejudice within races. So, a lot of white bodies are racist against other white bodies, and that's what we should really be looking at before we even go in. So there's lots of stuff. So I think his work's great, and obviously Gabor Mate, I just think his work is fantastic. And I think what he's done and how he's created a business himself from being a physician to now being, like he has so many different strings to his bows. So yeah, I think there's, and I think leaders come in all sorts of shapes and sizes.
Oh, absolutely. Totally agree. And what would you say is the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
The best piece of advice I was given would probably be start before you're ready, followed by done is better than perfect.
Brilliant. Love it. And what would you say are your top 3 qualities as a business owner? What do you think that really helps you as a business owner?
I think tenacity. During COVID, obviously the council kept trying to close us down. Even although we were ancillary to mental health in relation to what we'd done, I was holding people who were in suicidal distress. I was part of multidisciplinary teams. I was part of commissioned projects as a subcontractor. So, and I think, you know, tenacity, just that belief that just never stopped committing to improving not only my life, but the life of other people, was really just, you know, like just the strength, the sheer strength of, there were some days where I thought, I can't do this anymore. And my friend would be like, who are you? Who are you? And I was like, you're right, you're right. So really just that mental and moral strength, like I am doing the right thing. So I'd say tenacity is one of them. Courage would be the other one, you know, and again, going back to mental and moral strength in relation to courage. And compassion, I think, and when you look at how Gabor Mate speaks about compassion, he speaks about the 5 levels of compassion, where you have ordinary compassion, where it's, you know, it's a compassion for people around about you. It's being able to see their pain, and want to actually do something about it. But then there's the compassion of truth, which is working through your pain to get to the truth and to live a truthful life. And then there's a compassion of possibility, and that's actually seeing that things are possible, because possibility are the crumbs that lead you to hope, just like, you know, joy are the crumbs that lead you to happiness. The compassion of recognition, which is actually recognizing that there's something that needs to be changed or something that is unhelpful, and being able to move forward in that way. And the compassion of understanding, to see something, and want to do something about it and understand more about it. So yeah, my 3 things would be tenacity, courage, and compassion.
Excellent, excellent. And who would be your ideal customer or client, Vivian?
Oh, anybody who is living with stress, anybody who feels that their life is getting quite heavy and burdensome, anybody who just needs to step off the planet for an hour and just be.
That's brilliant. That sounds absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And tell me, if you think in 5 years in the future, so 2027, you know, what does your business look like then?
I would say it's probably the same as it is now, but just with more online courses, more speaking engagements. I mean, we're 7 years in business now, and I think we found something, like I've found something that really works. So it would just be expanding on that and adding to what we already provide.
Brilliant. And do you have a favorite book that you could share with people?
So my favorite book, I mean, there's loads of books, like I'm in the middle of it. So just now I am reading, you know, a book by Basil van der Kolk. I'm reading a book by Resmaa Menakem, who was chatting to you about My Grandmother's Hands. But I think one of the biggest books for me that created such a big change was Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell. And I just, you know, all of it just resonated with me. And it was one of my friends who had read it, and she said, Viv, you should read this, because you're a salesperson, you're a maverick and a connector. You know, every part of this book will resonate deeply within you. And it was one of them that once I started reading, I was going, and I found it really difficult to put it down.
That's a great recommendation. And what would you say is the biggest challenge that you're currently facing in your business?
I think my biggest challenge right now is finding staff who get, I mean, I'm really blessed. I've got a couple of members of staff who are just fantastic, but we have one role and we've probably filled it about 3 or 4 times in the last couple of years. And I get it, you know, it's the hours, it's stuff like that. So I would probably say, you know, finding staff who just get what we're about. And probably, you know, I'm coming up to looking to expand and to open up another couple of Hyrdo-Ease. So probably finance would be something that would be a challenge as well. And yeah, I think there'll probably be lots of things that'll come up. I think if you're in business and you can't find any challenges, then you're in the wrong business.
Very good, very good. I concur on that. And look, I mean, it sounds like you've got a lot to offer. You know, what would be the easiest way for people to get in touch with you or to avail of your services?
Well, you can go onto the Hyrdo-Ease website and you can book a free 30-minute exploration call with me. And that's just looking at, and that's for if you want to come and do the one-to-one work. Or I could offer, I would love to offer 10% off a float for the people who read this newsletter. I don't know if you want to put in, we'll maybe get a chat and put together a code or something that.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that.
Yep. So so I'd offer a 30-minute free exploration call and 10% off a float for anybody who wants to come and try the magic salty water.
Superb. I know I am sorely tempted to take that on myself. It sounds fantastic. So look, Vivian McKinnon of Hyrdo-Ease, it's been fantastic to hear about you and your business, and thank you very much for your time.